Hello students, I'm Imani Sharma, your UGC NET educator. In this new YouTube video, we are going to move forward with the higher education paper 1 concept series which are there. So we are going to talk about the advent, right, from where the higher education took place and how higher education was there during the time of ancient India, right? So ancient education system in India is what we are going to cover in these very particular slides in this very particular YouTube video. So first of all, let me just tell you that the ancient education system, when it was there, it was telling us the tales, the Ved, right? The Char Ved that we have, Rig Ved, Samved, Yajurved, and Atharvaved. These are the 4 Vedas, and of course, when the people, the teachers used to teach in the ancient Gurukul system, they used to teach Vedas as well. So first of all, through the introduction, we are going to see, and then we are going to see also what were the subjects which were being taught, how the teachers used to teach, correct? India has a rich history of education that date back thousands of years. And if we talk about ancient education system, it goes back to the times of Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. Right? The tales when we see that when Arjun is also trying to learn archery from Guru Dronacharya, same as well when we talk about Eklavya, he also tries to learn archery, but of course, because of the fact that Guru Dronacharya rejected this very thing of his, this very particular demand of his, request of his, so he learns things on his own, but still he provides him with Guru Dakshina by cutting his own thumb. So you see that how these people in the ancient times were really, respectful towards their teachers, how they used to stay together in the ashrams, etc. The ancient education system was based on the principles which were found in the Vedas, which we already have talked about, the 4 Vedas, Upanishads, Vedangas, etc. Right? And there were other texts like Brahmans, right? These were certain things that these are not the Brahmanas that we talk about, the Brahmana Kshatriya as a caste, right? But these were certain sacred texts which were taught in a classroom when we talk about, and there were not such a particular classroom, set of classroom, but there were ashrams in which, or gurukuls in which the students used to go get education and then come back. Correct? So, the Gurukul system was a prevalent form of education in ancient India where the students used to leave their house after performing certain kinds of rituals, right? The Janeu wali jo cheez hoti hai, the ritual which is there, after performing those very rituals, the students used to leave their house, come and live at the Gurukul with the teacher and learn certain things, of course, subjects, but there was very much emphasis on the holistic development of the students. And with holistic, I mean all round development. Emphasis was put on spiritual health, spirituality, mental health, mental well-being, physical health, etc. So that no one field is given much importance, but other fields are also equally important and they are being dealt with. The students are developing, their cognitive abilities are developing, their physical strength is also developing, and physical ke liye they used to do yoga, they used to do meditation, so on and so forth. Correct? Students lived with a guru who was a teacher and in an ashram, which was a residential school. Correct? And there was no such fees which was paid, but of course, if any student wanted, jaise I already told you that Eklavya gave Guru Dakshina, same was the case with other students as well. Education focused on scriptures, right? The sacred texts which were there, philosophy, practical skills. So it was not that students used to just come there and learn certain things, but they used to practice those very things as well. The debates, discussions used to happen as well. The Guru imparted knowledge through oral teaching. So the mode of education in the ancient education system of India was oral transmission of the knowledge. There were no, written things which were much more emphasized on, but oral teachings were given. Students used to learn mantras by heart, whatsoever mantras were taught to them by their teachers, so on and so forth. So teachings and discussions, oral teachings, discussions and debates used to take place. Subjects which were taught were Vedas and Upanishads. Vedangas were also taught, right, which are parts of Vedas. Sacred texts and spiritual philosophy, mathematics and astronomy, correct, Jyot Shastra, etc. Concepts like zero, decimal system, and the concept of infinity, which comes under mathematics, and astronomy as well, if we talk about, correct. Ayurveda, which is the study of medicine, which gave us someone or the other, like we had many, people who were there. We had Panini, not from the Ayurveda, but I'm just telling you, we have Sushrut. Sushrut was the one person who developed, who was the first plastic surgeon in India, correct? So we see Charak, who has written Charak Samhita, correct, where Ayurveda has been talked about, the usage of Ayurveda. Philosophy and logic, where critical thinking and reasoning skills were much and much more, talked about, and it was said that you should give your 100% to these very things, because you are coming here, you are not only learning things, but you also are supposed to put in your critical thinking, your critical analysis of certain things. Economics and politics, the Arthashastra by Kautilya, who was also known as Chanakya. He was also, who was the person who has written this very book, Arthashastra, which talks about economy, to teach students about economics as well. Role of Gurukul students was, there were specific duties which were assigned that these people were supposed to do for the teacher, correct, and responsibilities. They assisted in household chores, maintenance of the ashram, and performance tasks for the Guru. If Guru asked for anything, be it a glass of water, be it anything for food, etc., it was the duty of the student to provide the teacher with the same, correct. It instilled discipline in them, humility, and a sense of service, that yes, we are the people who need to be down to earth. We are supposed to be disciplined, and this discipline was not only working in the favor of the Guru, but for in their favor as well, when they were trying to meditate, when they were trying to get indulged in Yoga Shastra, etc. Student-teacher relationship was really cordial, was highly revered, highly respected, and of course, students used to respect their teachers like anything. Guru was considered a spiritual guide and a mentor who will help the student lead to have certain kind of knowledge, and maybe if you get involved with the teacher in some way or the other in the knowledge making or knowledge acquiring process, you can get salvation, of course, as well. Students were expected to respect and obey their guru's teaching, and of course the guru as a whole, because you are not supposed to disrespect your guru, disrespect your teacher, because that would have been seen as a really bad thing. So this relationship that we are talking about, that there was, and this was not just the responsibility of the student, the teacher was also supposed to have certain responsibilities, like he used to take care of the student as well when they joined the ashram. Mode of education emphasize the oral transmission of knowledge, about which we have already talked about. Oral discussions, oral debates, oral teachings from the teachers were also there. And when the students took participation in any kind of thing, be it the debates and discussions, of course, these also used to happen in the oral mode. Correct. Students memorized text and engaged in debates. The mantras, etc., that we already have talked about. The mantras were recited by them after the Guru, and of course, they learned it by heart, because it was said to be really important to know these mantras. Correct. Practical learning and experimentation were encouraged, and it was not that you were just supposed to, as I already told you, that you are supposed to learn from these very things only. You are just supposed to learn the mantras, etc. But you are also supposed to practice certain things which are there. Correct. Experiment, bring certain things on the new front. Education for all was there, and if I say, it was to some extent, not to the entire extent, because of the fact that students were provided with education, but of course that depended on the teachers as well, whosoever they wanted to choose from. Correct? So education in ancient India was not limited to a specific caste or gender to some extent, but of course the Brahmins were a little rigid when it came to education. That is why I gave you the example of Guru Dronacharya and Arjun, because these two people belonged from the caste of Brahmins, but Eklavya did not was not a Brahmin. So that's why Guru Dronacharya said that I will not be providing you with the education or the knowledge about archery. Hence, he rejected him. Correct? So there was, at a larger scale, it was somewhere or the other, the rigidity was from the Brahmins extent, but not at all from other castes. Women were also allowed to receive education in selected castes, etc., where we see the names of the scholars like Gargi, Maitreyi. Correct? So we see these scholars as well, these women scholars as well, being prominently there in those very ancient times. Correct? The ancient education system in India laid the foundation for a holistic and well-rounded approach. I already have given you the example of the holistic way of education, where we all are supposed to think logically, we are supposed to develop our mind, body, etc. It emphasized spiritual, intellectual, practical aspects of education, which we already have talked about, that you are not supposed to learn in a rote manner and mug up things, but you are also supposed to practice those very skills which you have learned in the classroom. Many principles of the ancient Indian education system still influence Indian education system in India today. So we saw that there are certain education centers for Pali, Prakrit, Sanskrit, etc., which are still there, and there are multiple schools which are also trying to teach students about the heritage, the Indian heritage, which has been emphasized by the National Policy on Education 1986 as well, and NEP 2020 as well. So these were certain things which were related to higher education's first video, which was all about how and about what the education system in India was there during the ancient times. I'll see you in another video. Thank you so much and have a good day.